All right, guys, here we are. More Ron DeSantis. Seems to be in the news more and more lately. DeSantis signs bill requiring Florida students, professors to register political views with the state. Huh? Universities may lose funding if staff and students' beliefs do not satisfy Florida GOP's run legislature. Okay, all right, let's see what they say here. Public universities in Florida will be required to survey both faculty and students on their political beliefs and viewpoints, with the institutions at risk of losing their funding if their responses are not satisfactory to the state's Republican-led legislature. The unprecedented project, which was tucked into a law signed Tuesday by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, is part of a long-running, nationwide right-wing push to promote intellectual diversity on campuses. Though worries over a lack of details on the survey's privacy protections and questions over what the results may ultimately be used for hover over the venture. Based on the bill's language, survey responses will not necessarily be anonymous, sparking worries among many professors and other university staff that they may be targeted, held back in their careers, or even fired for their beliefs. According to the bill's sponsor, State Senator Ray Rodriguez, faculty will not be promoted or fired based on their responses, but as the Tampa Bay Times reported Tuesday, the bill itself does not back up those claims. The only details on the survey come via a passage over its purpose to discover the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented at public universities and whether students feel free to express beliefs and viewpoints on campus and in the classroom. It used to be thought that a university campus was a place where you'd be exposed to a lot of different ideas, DeSantis said at a press conference following the bill signing. Unfortunately, now the norm is these are more intellectually repressive environments. You have orthodoxies that are promoted and other viewpoints are shunned or even suppressed. But hold on. Now, at the same time he's saying this, aren't they going on an anti-CRT crusade? Now, I'm not taking a position on CRT. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm agnostic on it. But the idea that you're going to talk about intellectual diversity and different ideas need to be talked about in the classroom. Well, then why are you on a crusade trying to get rid of CRT? Why did 41% of math textbooks in Florida get recalled because there's CRT in them? So this is totally at odds with the other stuff he says. Republicans have long held the universities promote left-wing ideologies and discriminate against conservative students and staff. Though the bill does not specify what the survey results will be used for, both DeSantis and Rodriguez suggest that the state could institute budget cuts if university students and staff do not respond in a satisfactory manner. That's not worth tax dollars, and that's not something that we're going to be supporting moving forward, DeSantis said. When pressed by reporters, the governor did not offer any specific examples of repression and discrimination faced by conservative students, simply saying that he knows a lot of parents who worry about what their children are being indoctrinated with on college campuses. Or on campus, I should say. Florida Senate President Wilton Simpson was more pointed in his criticism Tuesday at a meeting of the state university's system's board of governors, calling the institutions socialism factories, again without much detail on what makes the schools so left-wing. All right, so the list goes on and on. You guys get the gist of it here. But let's understand what's actually going on here, because this is what I think the most accurate way to describe this is. Ron DeSantis and the Republican Florida legislature, they want to do affirmative action for conservatives on campuses. So, and that may come in the form of affirmative action for conservatives in terms of being professors. It may be affirmative action for conservatives in terms of the student body. But no matter how you slice it or dice it, in either one way or two ways or both ways, it will be affirmative action for conservatives on school campuses. Now, I do find that kind of ironic because, again, the right is generally against affirmative action. But if it's a specific kind of affirmative action that pushes the right-wing viewpoint more, all of a sudden, they want to monitor the political beliefs of professors and students on campuses so that they can balance it out more. I think this is no goddamn business of the state. First of all, if you're a teacher, if you're a professor, and you're, in a particular field that isn't remotely political, like math, for example. I know he banned 41% of math textbooks or recalled them because there was CRT in them. But like, if you're a math professor, why the fuck should the state know you're political beliefs. What business is it of the state or of the school what your views are? I'll go a step further. For any professor, why is it the right of the state to know what you think about politics? It's not. Now, by the way, here's another radical notion that people are going to have to wrap their minds around. Some fields inherently skew more one direction or another. So if you were to go and poll NASCAR drivers, is that going to be 50-50? Is it going to be 50% left-wing, 50% right-wing? Or is it much more likely to be 90% right-wing? We all know the answer to that. And it's just because it could be cultural reasons, it could be environmental reasons. For whatever reason, regional reasons, that just leans more right. Now, by the same token, I don't think you're going to find very many conservative sociology professors. It's just not a field that lends itself to more rigid, traditional thought. By its very nature, it is not rigid and it is not traditional. So it's going to be more left-wing sociology professors. So is the answer really here the state coming in and micromanaging who believes what and whose politics are what? And the state will get to decide and get to cut funding if it's not up to par according to their arbitrary standards? No, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. So be consistent. If you're against affirmative action, be against it for political ideology as well. Because the fact of the matter is, academia does generally skew more left. Now, does that mean it should be 100% left-wing? No, but it's not. I'm sure it's not 100% left-wing. And at what point does fighting for balance mean you have to no longer be objective? Because this is a problem we talk about all the time. The difference between neutrality and objectivity. Like, okay, if you want to have a conservative evangelical Christian teach your science class, what happens if they start bringing up creationism or they start bringing up intelligent design? Well, I got news for you. Creationism and intelligent design are not science. So the left-wing professor who's talking about evolution and teaching facts about that, they would be correct. So in other words, bringing in balance or neutrality into the equation when talking about a science teacher, I don't want balance. I don't want neutrality. I want truth. I want facts. I want information. I want data. So I want objectivity over neutrality or balance. But he's prioritizing, DeSantis is prioritizing neutrality and balance. Why? Because he feels like, oh, our universities are too left-wing, so he wants to force them to be more right-wing, and the only way to do that is to act like Big Brother and basically force them to register their political views with the state, students and professors, and then shuffle them around according to his own arbitrary standard. No. I do not like this at all. No affirmative action for conservatives. No balance or neutrality for balance or neutrality's sake. Unless he's prepared to turn around and say, you know what? Any sort of, NASCAR race in Florida, we're going to go ahead and need you to be 50% left-wing and not 100% right-wing or 90% right-wing, which is what you are. No, I don't buy that. Some fields just happen to skew more politically one direction or the other direction, and it is what it is. That's called freedom. That's the way it's going to work. And by the way, conservatives understand this, and they talk about this all the time when it comes to gender stuff. It's like you're just going to have more male construction workers. That's just the way it is. Should you enforce neutrality or balance on that and mandate 50-50? No. So why'd you do it for political ideology in schools? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's affirmative action for conservatives. And it's creepy and big brothery to have to register your political views with the state if you're a professor, if you're a student, etc. The government can get out of our business on this front. They can just get out of our business. They don't need to know anybody's politics. Let people be free and do what they want. You can't look at this story and then also think, oh, DeSantis is pro-freedom. Because this is not pro-freedom. This isn't freedom at all. This is micromanaging by the state. Don't support it at all. And by the way, another reason you know he's anti-freedom, he's against legalizing marijuana. So I hope Rogan is watching this because he's not the one, man. He's not the one, and I sincerely hope he changes his mind on that. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.